It's my delight now to invite Grant and Carly Burnham. So everyone we've heard from so far have been Executive Link graduates, and Grant and Carly are based at Monto, just in central Queensland here. And I'll hand over to you to hear your story. Thank you.
Thanks, David, and thanks, RCS. It's real daunting honour to be up here in front of 140 people, and it's great to hear the previous speakers, and I'm sure there's 140 equally as good stories, or possibly better stories than what Carly and I have to offer. But we're very proud of our regenerative journey so far, and I'm just proud to be here today to share it with you. So we're from Monto, which is southwest of Rockhampton here. We run an 8,000 hectare organic beef operation. We've got a rainfall average of 650 mil, which doesn't always happen, fairly variable in these past few years. So we're going to split our presentation up into three areas. But where our regenerative journey started was 10, 11 years ago, and we'll call that the uprooted section. Then we move into the dig deep session, where we really needed to change and change the way we approach things, and then on to the outcomes and what we call the flow. So I've been in the industry about 30 years now, and so our regenerative journey didn't start until 11 years ago, when Carly and I have been married for 10, we had 3.5 kids, and we had been working in what we thought was a very successful family operation, doing what we thought was right. You know, if there was a weed, we'd kill it. If there was a plant out of place, we'd kill it. It was all about beef production. If the cattle wouldn't eat it, we'd feed them something to make them eat it. So it was always forcing the outcome of what we're trying to do. We're beef producers first and foremost, and also seed stock producers. And we thought we were doing a pretty good job at that. So things were going along pretty well until and we had bought a couple of neighbouring properties and working well, just the four of us, my parents and Carly, and then the inevitable thing of succession came about, which I'm sure there's plenty of people in this room have been through or going through or are definitely thinking about. So we went through this process. There's some rough patches, honestly, but we came out the other side of it, and it worked out very well. We all get on extremely well, but we ended up with a lot less country than what we were managing our debt with, and with that became more work, more pressure on our resources and our finances. So things really did have to change. So, but it was a free feeling, and we had the world at our feet at that time, and young enough to make some changes. But my real push for change was our financial stress and our people stress. We were working way too hard. Our finance ratio was 40%. Like every dollar we were spending nearly half of it just to the bank. So it was a stressful time. But there were other. So it was blind to me, but obvious to Carly that the environment was also stressing. I was just worried about the people and the finance, but Carly comes from a different angle. So
is this one working? All right. So yes, we were perhaps having one of those intense husband and wife conversations, and I was going all Mother Earth on us. I'll tell you a story. Driving to the bus, this was recently, but this has been going on for 10 years. Driving to the bus, typical Tuesday afternoon, and in the neighbour's paddock, this beautiful black cracking clay with box and blue gums, just a beautiful patch. And this one lonely blue gum, an adolescent, that's the maternal, the nurturing mother in me. I admired this teenage tree. But this one afternoon, I noticed that the leaves were changing colour, and I realised how empty and angry this is making me feel. Our traditional methods, there's always a tree there's always a dead tree or something in our presentations, isn't there? So 10 years ago, I was going all Mother Earth, and we've got to save this plundering planet, and there's a climate crisis, don't you know, Grant? What are you talking about? We've got to make more money. So I had to kind of flip on my urgent idealism and focus on what we needed to do as a business. And we had to take a long, hard look at each other over the kitchen table. And because as our finances were plummeting, our land was also not at its potential, and relationships were becoming fragile. And we had 3.5, almost 4 children. So we were thinking about the future. So this was a pivotal time for us, and we knew that something dramatically had to change, and we began to dig quite deep.
So around this time, we really looked out to other groups, neighbours. We're excited to see what was possible with this earth that we needed to make more money from. We came to consult. We'd already had some dealings with Terry through our succession. He was an instrumental part of the success of our succession stories, with the respect he gains from elders, and we were grateful for that. And so we did GFP as soon as we could, as one of the turning points in our program, and the rest just really flowed from there. We along with a lot of personal development training and that type of thing. So the biggest thing that changed for me initially was the changing from a beef producer to a grass producer. Just taking a step back, seeing what are we doing. Is it about the kilograms of beef we can get off? It was, and if we took a step back and realised we can't run cattle without the grass. Like it's more about grass production. And then deeper that we dug into, we realised it was more about soil health and living organisms. And so it was pretty inevitable. We started doing some work on our properties, and we're in this transition of changing our paddocks to smaller areas, watering it better. We started out with about 30 paddocks. We're up to around 90 now, with the initial process we're going through to 150 paddocks, and just in stages. And this has transformed our production, the ease of management, looking at the whole year forecast, being able to sell cattle well before we're forced to, and it also changed our lives, like our happiness. It was amazing. It made things a lot easier, and took me probably 5 years to realise, the environment's got something to do with this. So Carly was well ahead of me in that area. So we weren't organic at this stage. Like we never went organic to make money. It wasn't from that angle at all. It was just a natural progression for what we can do in our country. The inputs plummeted. We didn't need all the inputs we needed before. And so it was a natural progression to just open our markets up to another another option. And we felt more connected with our land and with our food, and we want to tell this story to the city people, and food's a great way to do that. So we've got an online marketing beef selling business as well as a small part of our business. We're able to start a soil carbon project in 2016. We're nearly up to 5 years of that. So that's really exciting to, as much as anything from a research point of view, to see what's happening under the ground there. And so we're really excited to see the outcomes of that. And there's a whole lot of other flow benefits that come.
So we challenged everything about our beliefs, our values, our practices, went on this intense journey of education and connecting and networking and reading and meditating to the moon, whatever it took really. And we had to reimagine how we were doing business, and very grateful to so many of you out there that we can see that have walked with us on this journey. And we have come to a place, so in 10 years, it's about 11 years, we have arrived at a place of integration where we've integrated our facts and evidence and data and our intuition, emotion, and the feel-good stuff. And in terms of data, Grant mentioned earlier in the scarcity stage that for every dollar that we earn, 10 cents was paying Rabobank, bless their cotton socks. Is our bank manager here? I don't think so. 40, sorry, I gave it away, 40 cents in every dollar. And now, 10 years later, only 10 cents in every dollar is going towards our bank interest, and our debt has increased since then significantly also. Our carrying capacity has increased by 30%, same amount of dirt, 30% increase. Our turnover has increased by over 350%, quite incredible. So this has given us the freedom to continue to develop our minds and our hearts and our connection and our communities. And I don't know if it's in the benchmarking currently, but perhaps it should be. The happiness ratio was actually 1,000%. And that's what it is now. However, it's been a journey of joy and challenge. And it's not all about the Pollyanna and being happy, but I think what a regenerative mindset and philosophy affords us is when there's challenges, they're not experienced as challenges. When there's trauma and drama and crisis, they're experienced more as an opportunity to learn and grow. What can we do different, and to draw on our connections and wisdom. We didn't change everything. We are traditional in some ways. So we have kept the beautiful essence of the family, long-held generations of our property, and integrated a contemporary approach as well. Some other outcomes that we've achieved is a more diverse business and a more diverse family. So Grant mentioned the beef marketing, a very rewarding, and there's a few customers in the room, very rewarding project. The soil carbon project 5 years ago, our whole property was baseline to 1.2 metre depth of cores of soil, and this year it'll be baselined again, and we'll have some hardcore data to perhaps have a tradable commodity. And that's really the icing on the cake because of the benefits in production from the regenerative philosophies and practices. That's really shifted our business around. And then if we can receive income from carbon credit units, that would be amazing as well. We have off-farm assets now. We have also, we're also philanthropists. We have experienced the gift of giving, and we're really passionate about not just regenerating our own businesses, and we also think part of the regenerative journey is to regenerate our communities. So we have founded an arts and cultural organisation in our community, and we have dozens and dozens of people on this journey that's giving life and hope to the community. That's very exciting. And to wind up, how are we going for time? David's standing up. If we were to reflect on our whole journey of the last 10 or 11 years, to pinpoint just one thing that we changed, the core thing that we changed, it was kind of hard. Obviously, fences and water are profitable, and that was really dynamic. Boundaries around our business and personal life, meetings and analysis of our finances, that was really key too. But where we got to in our conversation was the one key thing that we changed was ourselves. And when we acknowledged that we were part of our agricultural business, not it's out there and we're here and we do things to it and it gives us things, resources sometimes, stress other times. But when we stepped into it and believed, hey, we're part of this system, we're part of this natural system, the natural world, that's when we could really make headway with making changes and having a more impact on the environment. And collectively, what we can achieve in agriculture is incredible when we believe that we are part of the larger system and step into it. It's quite exciting, and it's only limited by our desires and imagination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as a consumer of Bonnie Doon beef, thank you. The one question that has come through there, as an organic producer, how much of an importance do you place on testing your soils? How often and how intensively do you do that?
I think it's about is testing for chemical or testing for what component.
Would the person who asked the question like to clarify that for us? I don't know. I think
yeah.
Well, where does soil testing fit into your business as usual operation? Maybe if we separate that from the carbon. So you mentioned carbon. There's some information on your seats there around that. If you'd like to know more about that one there. If we talk about soil testing from a management point of view.
Yeah. Well, just to cover the first thought I got was about chemicals in soil. Well, it's a rigorous testing program that goes on when we become certified. That we have to send a lot of soil samples away and that type of thing. As far as testing soils, fecal analysis, all that heavy testing in a production system, we've looked at what's happening as being the best test. Like a cattle can be the best test. What's happening on the ground, like dieback's a big conversation at the moment, and what's happening, what we can see is happening as a result of our management and the season around it. That's probably the best testing that we do. But other than physically testing, it's the carbon soil testing is the only real testing that we're doing. But we really just feel like we listen to nature, listen to the reactions of what we're doing, what impact we're having. That's our testing program.